welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and we're here at Sonny McLean's on Wilshire Boulevard in beautiful Santa Monica, California. It's Tuesday nights, which means it's the Grandstanders Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're nearby, come on by. The place is already hopping, and this rumor, Matt Damon was here within the last week to hang out at Sonny McLean's. Oh, it would have been great if he had been on Tuesday night and we could have Matt on the show. So Matt, if you're watching, come on by. We'd love to have you on. All right, we're with the lovely and talented Adrian. We have 60 questions in 60 minutes. Adrian is pumped and jacked like Pete Carroll. Thank you for showing up, Adrian. Glad I could bring you here. Start the show.
Always glad to be here with you, honey. All right, so we're going to start out with Conor McGregor. He wins in 41 seconds. Is that worth the $90?
No, it wasn't worth the $90. First of all, anyone who pays pay-per-view and should be disappointed, because why are you paying $90 to watch something on TV? You knew it was UFC. Those events always end up being 30, 40, 50 seconds. The cowboy tomato can that McGregor fought, that was a joke. If you were disappointed in paying $90, well, next time, don't pay the $90. But look, Conor McGregor, you got to hand it to him. The man has pizzazz. It's great to just watch him walk into the ring. Little Vince McMahon type of walk. Thought that was very interesting. The comparison, of course, it always comes down to the WWE, or as I know it, the WWF. So yeah, if you got ripped off for $90, just remember for the next time, I hope you will. Great question, Adrian. What do you got?
Oh, why was Tom Brady sitting all alone in Vegas?
I know, who goes to Vegas to a big fight alone? Kind of strange. I know I saw a magazine last week that said maybe Giselle and Tom are on the rocks a little bit. It was kind of strange, but I'm betting, just betting, that Tom Brady didn't spend the whole night alone. You don't go to Vegas and not hang out with people. It was kind of a strange look. Too bad he wasn't preparing for the AFC Conference Championship game, which we've been doing for the last 8 years. So kind of sad in a lot of ways. Sure wish he wasn't in Vegas, but at Gillette Stadium preparing for the game. All right, we're going to go to the Celtics. Celtics are 28-14, fourth best record in the Eastern Conference from a week ago. That's dropped down 2 spots. Adrian, you've got a ton of questions about the Celtics, so let's get it started.
Okay, first up, was last night's game against the Lakers the best game of the year?
Wow, can you imagine? Celtics, who were down 8-0 to start the game, end up winning by 32, coasting. Absolutely, that was the best game of the year. Lakers, best team in the NBA right now, and we blow out their doors. All of a sudden, you see a guy like Jason Tatum taking control of the game. It was nice to see. Everybody contributed. Yes, that was the best game of the season. Hopefully, this carries over for the rest of the season and into the playoffs. Great question. First question, Adrian. What do you got?
Coach Brad did some coaching last night.
Yeah,
right?
Coach Brad. Yeah, right. Gotta call him Coach Brad. Look, what did Coach Brad do? He thought about this was a playoff game. He shortened his bench. We didn't see Brad Wanamaker, did we? We saw a shortened bench. He wanted to win the game. He's not afraid to have the guys play 40 minutes if they have to. They didn't have to because they came out to a big lead. But good for Brad Stevens for realizing, look, the team is not playing well. This was a huge game. This is a game that gives them confidence moving forward. I'm going to treat it like a playoff game. It's not just another game in January. And obviously that reaped rewards. And now all the Celtics woke up this morning with a lot more confidence than they did last night. And this will carry over. So yes, I've been critical of Coach Brad the whole season. Feel like he's been kind of coasting. But yes, absolutely, Coach Brad brought his A game yesterday, and it showed. Kudos to you, Coach. Adrian.
Did Cantor look like the best big man on court last night?
Yeah, right. Anthony Davis. obviously, arguably the top 2-3 best players in the league. McGee, who would love to see in a Celtics uniform, and who overshadows both of them, but Enes Kanter. He just looked like he was taller than everyone else. Offensive rebounds up the yin-yang. God, if Enes Kanter had just been on the team with the big three, with his offensive rebounding prowess, wow. I'm thinking at the very least 2 more World Championships, we'd be sitting there at 19 instead of 17. That's how much I like Enes Kanter on the offensive end. He was just better than everyone last night, proving right now that Enes Kanter is one of the best acquisitions in the NBA this season. That's how strong he's been in the last 20 games. Adrian.
Does Kanter exercise his player option at $5 million?
Okay, anytime a player plays really well, I'm immediately going on the web to see what his contract situation is. It wasn't very clear to me, but Enes Kanter signed a 2-year deal with the Celtics in the offseason for $10 million. That he has a second year is a player option for $5 million. Will Enes Kanter take the option, or will he go back out in the market? Well, Enes played really well in the playoffs last year, if you remember, and there wasn't a great market for him. A year later, even though he's playing well, center is not a priority position. I'm going to say that Enes Kanter likes it with the Celtics, very comfortable with the team, really ingratiating himself in Boston, loves the whole political climate, too, that's in Boston. I think that Enes Kanter does exercise his option for $5 million and stays with the Celtics, and we all got to be happy about that. That's a really good deal to get a quality center at that lower price in the NBA. All you got to think about is Kelly Olynyk, who, I don't know, not really a center, pretty much the same height as Kanter, makes $15 million a year. Who would you rather have right now, Kelly Olynyk or Enes Kanter? That's an easy answer. Enes Kanter every day of the week. Adrian.
Would you still trade for Anthony Davis?
Yeah, look, how many times on our show do we talk about the pursuit of one Anthony Davis? Obviously, he's playing exceptional combined with LeBron James. Yes, Anthony Davis is an extraordinary player. Anthony Davis is worth a lot of players. Would you give up Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum for Anthony Davis? There was some point that, yes, we probably would have done that. I don't do that now. They're 2 high-quality players with great upside. And the thing about Anthony Davis is, though he's an extraordinary player, he is very injury-prone. He's been injury-prone this season with the Lakers. A lot of time on the bench. If Anthony Davis does not make the call and play in the playoffs, deep into the playoffs, and gets injured again, what is his true value? So Anthony Davis still has a lot of questions to answer. And no, of course, I know we're never getting Anthony Davis, but the price tag would have been very high. It would have included Brown and Tatum, and I'm not, at this point, willing to pay that price. Great question, Adrian.
So this question comes from one of the party goers here at Sonny McLean's. Is LeBron the greatest of all time?
Oh my God. Well, we know the greatest of all time in football. That's one Tom Brady. We know the greatest of all time in hockey. That's Bobby Orr. No, the greatest of all time in basketball, I've decided, is Bill Russell, for the ability to win as many championships as he did and be one of the main contributors. And look, they weren't winning any championships before Bill Russell came, and then they had 11 out of 13. Bill Russell, I've decided, is the greatest player of all time, because when it comes down to it, bottom line, it's about championships and how you contributed to those, and he's the greatest of all time when it comes to that. And also an Olympic champion winner, Bill Russell, who's still kicking, and God bless him. Love to see Bill Russell anytime you see a picture of him. Bill Russell is the greatest player of all time. LeBron, definitely top 5. Absolutely, but that's for another day. And this just in, Bruins beat the Golden Knights at home 3-2, so that's good. We needed that. Bruins need that. We'll talk about hockey later, so hopefully you've turned off the Bruins and you're watching the Grandstanders live. Good to have you aboard. Adrian, next question.
How fun was Jalen dunking over LeBron?
Oh my God, how fun was that? I don't even know how many kids have posters in their room. I guess they do. My kids are all grown up, but yeah, Jalen Brown posterized LeBron yesterday. What lift? It seemed like Jalen took off from about 10 feet in the basket, not really even completely running. And this is the Jalen Brown that we knew we were getting out of college. If you remember, when Jalen came out of college, he was all about his athleticism, not as much about his shot, hoping that developed. And also, if you remember, he had a dunk, I think last year, where he hit his head, or maybe it was the year before, and he was very hesitant to dunk for a long time after that, suffered a concussion. But Jalen's back, and when Jalen's showing the lift that he has, another part of his game, yeah, absolutely. Defense players across the NBA saw that. You may see guys take it to the side a little bit when Jalen gets high, because the last thing they want to do is be posterized by Jalen Brown. Yeah, that was just a big night. What an exciting night for the Celtics in so many levels. A guy like Jalen Brown just taking it to another level last night and entertaining the Boston Celtics nation. Wow, that was so much fun. We need more games like that. Adrian.
Are you already tired of hearing about Bronny?
Oh my God. Here out in LA, guys, if we're not hearing about LBJ or LeBron, we're hearing about Bronny. Of course, you know who Bronny is. Bronny is LeBron James's son, who's in his freshman year in high school. He's teamed up with Dwayne Wade's son. They're already televising his games on ESPN, and he's a freshman. By the time he gets to the senior, it's just going to be it's going to be like an Allstate commercial with Aaron Rodgers. Yes, they've got to tone it down a little bit. I don't need to be hearing about Bronny when he's not going to be in the NBA for another 5 years. And how much fun would it be if Bronny ultimately gets drafted by the Celtics and LeBron for the next 10 to 15 years has to be at the Garden wearing Celtics garb and rooting for the Celtics. Oh my God, I can already see it now. No matter what, you gotta draft LeBron James, Bronny, Danny Ainge, just for the screw LeBron factor. Adrian.
Who is Tatum starting to look like?
Who is Jason Tatum starting to look like? Wow, he really is starting to look like Paul Pierce. It just feels that way when he has the ball. It feels like that when he shoots. The confidence level, and I'm not talking about Paul Pierce when he was in his third year in the league. I'm talking about Paul Pierce 7-8 years into the league. Jalen has really matured. He definitely had a sophomore slump, but he's making up for it now. Much more controlled in both the offensive and defensive end. And Paul Pierce is a Hall of Famer. Paul Pierce has his number retired on the rafters. So if you can compare a guy to Paul Pierce, that's pretty good company, especially for a guy who's so young in his career. Danny, another prop for getting Jason Tatum. He is working out, and yes, he is a max player. No doubt the results are in. Adrian.
Is Daniel Tice playing for real?
Yeah, what's up with Daniel Tice? Is he just ignoring the back of his baseball card, as we say? Is Daniel Tice this good? We saw lots of glimpses the first year in Daniel Tice. Second year, I understand that he got injured a lot, but it was still a guy who didn't make a jump to the next level. A guy who's played for many years in pro leagues in Germany, so it's not like he was a young guy. But all of a sudden this year, on both ends, and rejecting Anthony Davis and players of that ilk, And I don't know what to think. Daniel Tice is he a 25-minute guy now as a center for the Boston Celtics? Tice and Cantor on the court at the same time? We didn't really think about that. That's actually a thought. Now all of a sudden we're not small. Then Robert Williams, if he ever comes back, that's another big guy in the rotation. Cantor, Tice, Robert Williams. All of a sudden, yes, I'm feeling pretty confident about the big man position for the Celtics. And yes, I think they can go deep with those guys. And I didn't think that a month ago. Great question, Adrian. What you got?
This is from one of our viewers. Can the Celtics beat the Bucks?
Yeah, I don't know. Great question. Yeah, what a weird game that was. We got behind against the Bucks last week. We got behind by a lot, and then all of a sudden we make a great comeback. Yes, and that was in Milwaukee. Yes, the Celtics can beat the Bucks, and I have the recipe for it. And Adrian's going to ask the questions that's going to be the keys to victory in a 7-game series against the Milwaukee Bucks. Adrian.
What do you want Eric Bledsoe to do?
What do I want Eric Bledsoe to do? I want Eric Bledsoe on the court as much as possible. Look, for as talented as he is, you know he's going to screw up at least 5 to 10 times a game, do something stupid. He's a hothead. When he starts screaming at the referees and screaming at the players or deciding that he's going to ignore the other 4 guys on the court and he's just going to go 1-on-1 with 5 other players on the opposing team, that's the Eric Bledsoe I need. That's the guy that we need to spend as many time as minutes on the court, and that's what we need, the Eric Bledsoe factor to beat the Bucks. But we got more questions.
Do we need to stop Giannis?
We don't need to stop Giannis. What we need to do is foul Giannis. Giannis is a terrible free throw shooter this year. You know, NBA players, especially a guy like Giannis and big men, they have weird careers when it comes to free throws. Their free throw percentages can vary greatly year to year. And same thing with LeBron and stuff like that. And players like that. Giannis is just having a really bad year at the line, and it seems like they don't get that together till the offseason. Giannis is a guy that you can foul and put on the line 25 times a game, and all of a sudden he's hitting 12 to 13. That's the little gap that you need. Give Giannis his 40 points, but make it with 25 free throws. And there's another recipe to how to beat the Bucks in a 7-game series. But we have more. Adrian.
How about Chris Middleton?
Chris Middleton. I love Chris Middleton. I just think, obviously he would be a great player in the Celtics, and he'd be a great player on any team. But, don't say that I'm a cruel person. I don't root for injuries. I don't do that. But, it'll be all right. I think Chris Middleton's the kind of guy that just needs to get a hamstring pull for the series against the Celtics. Not anything debilitating, nothing career affecting, just something where he's out for 3 or 4 games. That's another part of the recipe, because this got to all come together, fellas, for us to beat the Bucks. They are clearly a superior team than the Celtics in a lot of ways. And of course, we know they're going to get better before the trading deadline. You can guarantee on that, because a lot of these veteran players are going to want to go to a team that they think is going to be in the NBA Finals. And right now, they are the clear and prohibitive favorite to be in the NBA Finals, representing the Eastern Conference. So that's what I gave you right now in January. I gave you the ingredients. Let's hope that it all comes to fruition. Adrian.
Marcus Smart made a Celtics record 11 three-pointers during the game against the Suns. Would you have guessed that he would have the record?
I know JP's first son, Tim Hoey, who's a longtime season ticket holder of the Celtics, always screams when Marcus Smart shoots, forgetting about three-pointers. And who would believe that Marcus Smart now has the record for 3-pointers for the Boston Celtics. And now since he's got the record, he's been heaving it up. This is not a good thing, Celtics fans. When Marcus Smart thinks that he has the okay to shoot 3-pointers, ultimately bad things are going to happen. He's going to need to be reeled in. And Brad has always had a tough time kind of reeling Marcus Smart in. But Marcus is not our sharpshooter. Marcus is not a guy who should be shooting 3-pointers on a regular basis. When he makes 3-pointers, it always seems like it's this desperation shot when the 24-second clock is running down. That's where Marcus seems to be his best. But yeah, with great players like Larry Bird and Ray Allen, for Marcus Smart to have the record for 11 3-pointers. There seems something a little off about that, but that's why records are meant to be broken, and hopefully Jason Tatum breaks it very, very soon. Great question, Adrian.
So what's your current feeling about Grant Williams?
Okay, Grant Williams, I love Grant Williams. I wanted him to be drafted by the Celtics, and he was drafted by the Celtics. He's not the player I thought he was going to be. He doesn't look like he's going to develop into the player I thought he was going to be. And then he hits that 3-pointer yesterday, and he gives thumbs up to Boogie Cousins, and he just felt like he was an 8-year-old. And then what we talk about Grant Williams is his maturity. I don't know. He got teed up for it, which was kind of ridiculous. Grant Williams almost seems like he could be replacing Lucky as the next mascot of the Celtics. I don't know. I wish the Celtics had gone elsewhere in the draft. I don't think that Grant Williams is a guy that ends up in the league more than 3 or 4 years. Just doesn't seem to have that body type. He's that tweener. It doesn't seem like he has a position. Not sold on Grant Williams at all. All right, so we go to the Boston Red Sox, and lovely and talented Adrian has some breaking news.
Breaking news. Derek Jeter and Larry Walker make the Hall of Fame. Thoughts?
Yeah, well, Derek Jeter, of course, we're not surprised. Every time Derek Jeter was up at the plate, I rooted against him. Every time a ball was hit to Derek Jeter, I hoped he made an error. But I can appreciate that Derek Jeter was one of the greatest Yankees of all time, deserving of this honor. And some writer, to try to get a name for themselves, did not put Derek Jeter on the ballot, which is absolutely ludicrous. So he did not get a unanimous vote by 1 vote. And we're going to hear from the bore who didn't vote for him, and he's going to get lots of interviews and stuff, and he's going to get Twitter follows and stuff. We know why he did it, but Derek Jeter was clearly a unanimous choice based on all the players who were available this year. That's ridiculous, but congratulations to Derek Jeter. Larry Walker, I don't know, we didn't see much of him. He played for the Expos and then Colorado. Obviously a great player, the second Canadian. I know we have a lot of Canadian fans who watch our show, and Grant's beautiful wife Joni is from Nova Scotia. So Larry Walker is the second Canadian to make it to the Hall of Fame. So there you go. Good kudos for Canada. They've had a tough year, so that's a good thing. Yeah, Larry Walker was a great player. I don't think he was ever involved in the whole steroids thing. I kind of think he maybe came in. He was playing during a little bit part of that, but I don't think I had heard any rumors about Larry Walker. He was a big guy. So yeah, good job for Larry Walker. This was his last opportunity to be voted in other than the veteran committee. So yeah, nice to see. But there were some players who did get voted in. Adrian.
Kurt Schilling. He almost made it. Does he deserve it?
Kurt Schilling does. Wow. I guess in the current climate of how many victories you need moving forward, because pitchers aren't going to get those 300 victories. So yes, I guess you put Kurt Schilling in that label of with his victory total and with his success in the playoffs and World Series. Yeah, Kurt Schilling deserves it. He's such a dick, off the field, and he's really, pissed off so many people. He pissed off a whole state in Rhode Island. But yeah, Kurt Schilling probably in the current standard of Hall of Famers deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Not that anyone's going to want to hear that speech coming up in Cooperstown, but it looks like that Schilling will probably be voted in, most likely, next year. So yeah, everyone get ready, because it's going to be Kurt Schilling on your TV, whether you like it or not. And hopefully he keeps it non-political. Come on, Kurt. Come on, figure it out. The politics stuff, keep it to yourself. It's not working out for you and your family. Get a grip.
So Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds are getting closer. Will they make it?
Yeah, that's a great question. That was a Max Kerman special. Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds are now like 60 and 61%. You need 75% to get in. They're creeping up. They're definitely creeping up. People are getting used to the fact that, okay, the steroids era was, look, and you go to the Cooperstown, they actually have a display talking about the steroid era. So they address it at Cooperstown, and you got to give kudos to the Cooperstown people for addressing that. So they don't ignore it. It's not ignored. They've paid enough. They were Hall of Fame players. Absolutely. Yes. Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And I would hope possibly at least one of them next year. Adrian.
Well, our old friend Manny Ramirez only got 28% of the vote. Does he ever get in?
I know, and it's remarkable. I mean, okay, Manny got, how many times did he get jammed up for steroids? A lot, got suspended and nice stuff. But Manny is arguably one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time, and possibly the greatest right-handed hitter of all time in some circles. Yeah, Manny Ramirez, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's a knucklehead, but that was part of the allure of Manny Ramirez, being a knucklehead. But since his playing career is over, he's got into coaching. He's trying to, I know the Red Sox have embraced him again. He's trying to make amends for some of the things he did in his career, and obviously he did stuff with the traveling manager here in Boston, the steroids and stuff. So yeah, I think the Manny Make Good tour is continuing on, and I think ultimately may take 3 or 4 more years. I think Manny Ramirez ends up in the Hall of Fame. Adrian.
Do you believe Jose Altuve wore a buzzer?
Oh, of course he did. Jose Altuve wore a buzzer. Looks like Bregman wore a buzzer. There's no question in my mind. We've seen the videotape. It didn't want his shirt ripped off. Clearly, you could see mouthing the word buzzer. You could see the lump on his shirt. People just don't make this stuff up sometimes. You don't just say he was wearing a buzzer. Legitimate people, and not be some smoke with some fire. Yeah, Jose Altuve. Look, the guy's like he's like a jockey. What was Jose Altuve hitting all these home runs for? This is a guy that shouldn't even have been in the major leagues, but was able to fight himself into a tryout that he had already got cut in. Yeah, Jose Altuve will do anything, which is understandable, to stay in the major leagues and to prosper. Steroids, whatever he's got to do. And it turns out, can't get steroids, they test for it, but they weren't testing for buzzers attached to your body. Not yet, anyways. Yeah, Jose Altuve, I'm pretty sure that was guilty in some level. And when they asked him the question, wasn't a complete, what are you kidding? That's crazy. None of that wasn't a complete, I don't even know why you asked the question. If you're innocent, completely innocent, then you're rip shit if somebody accuses you of something that drastic in your life. You would go ballistic in answering the question. If you don't, there's something to it. Bregman the same way. He's kind of averting the question over the weekend. Absolutely. These players are culpable. They should be suspended. And, I'm still waiting, but we have a question on that.
This one from the audience here. So in light of all that, Does the commissioner of baseball, Rob Manfred, need to go?
Yes, he does. Rob Manfred, we had so much promise for him. Just seems like a pleasant-looking guy, and he was supposed to be the young guy taking over for Bud Selig with new ideas and stuff. He's been a complete and utter bust. Hasn't changed any rules to bring baseball to the modern age as far as shortening the games whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, he has an opportunity to take control of baseball in its biggest crisis. I would say the biggest crisis in my lifetime, even greater than the steroid era, because let's be honest, the baseball was in trouble, then the steroids came, and everybody was happy-go-lucky about the homers and Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. So there was a lot of joy and happiness in the steroid era. It's only later we felt guilty about it did everyone start to bring it up. But during the steroid era, it was party all the time. So yes, there's no fun in this though. This is the worst time in the history of baseball in my era. And yes, Rob Manfred was at the helm. He needs to go for that and for many other reasons. But what an opportunity for Major League Baseball owners to get Rob Manfred based on this. I hope they take that into account. But usually the commissioner and the owners are buddy-buddy, and it doesn't happen that way. Very rarely do you see a commissioner fired by the owners. It just doesn't happen. They're all in that together. Great question, Adrian.
Is Alex Cora getting too much positive publicity?
Yeah, what's it about this whole Boston thing with Alex Cora and all the positive love he's getting? Look, Alex Cora is the ringleader to one of the biggest marks in the history of baseball. Alex Cora, yeah, he seems to be a very nice guy, personality-wise. Did a lot for his for Puerto Rico, which is a part of the United States. I just want to mention. So I don't know why people say his country, Puerto Rico. It's part of the United States. Repeat it again. He's done a lot for Puerto Rico. I understand that, but that doesn't belabor the fact that Alex Cora, when it comes to baseball, is a scumbag. He's an ultimate scumbag. He blatantly cheating and taking advantage of the sport. And yes, Alex Cora does not deserve any love. Alex Cora is never going to be the manager of the Red Sox again, because I can tell you now that more information will come out about what Alex Cora's role was in the 2017. That's not over information gathering wise, and it's just going to look worse and worse for Alex Cora. I think we can move forward now and just cut it out about giving all this love to Alex Cora. He doesn't deserve it. Really. Do you give that love to your kids when they fail and you send them to bed? No. Adrian.
So what will his punishment be from the league?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, apparently Rob Manfred is waiting to get the full information or decide on the Red Sox before he decides on Cora. Cora's getting more than a year. I would assume that Cora gets at least 2. I would say now, because we're not hearing anything different, 2 years Alex Cora gets suspended. Great question, Adrian.
Who is going to be the next Red Sox manager?
Who would be the next Red Sox manager? As you know, I've been pining for Jason Varitek, so I have to stay with my prediction. Jason Varitek will be the next manager of the Red Sox. He may just want a short-term managerial position. He may not want it long-term. This is a guy that stepped away from baseball when he retired, saying, he needed a break. Only works kind of part-time. Jason Varitek has a pretty good life for himself. We've seen him at the Kentucky Derby. We've seen him lots of places. Jason Varitek may just want to be an interim manager. Jason Varitek knows that he's a legend in Boston, and if he becomes a manager, things go well. We know it turns awful quickly, doesn't it? That's why Larry Bird never became the coach or general manager of the Celtics, because he understood it more than anyone. You don't taint the perfect reputation. Great question, Adrian.
How about the Red Sox punishment for sign stealing?
Yeah, it looks like the Red Sox, if you believe the rumors, Dan Roach had said that there may not be much to the sign stealing for the Red Sox in 18. J.D. Martinez in the Winter Wonderland event in Springfield over the weekend he said that he didn't think that the Red Sox did anything wrong. Well, J.D. Martinez would know. He was really kind of the quasi-captain of the team. He's in all the meetings. Everybody goes to J.D. Martinez for advice. He's one of the statesmen of the team. If J.D. Martinez sticks his neck out and says the Red Sox didn't do anything wrong, I would be shocked if they did. And geez, we didn't, So I would say that the Red Sox probably will get some kind of little punishment, maybe a draft pick or something, but nothing too drastic. It just feels like that way coming off the Winter Wonderland event. Adrian.
Can Dusty please retire?
Oh my God. So, I kind of forgot about Dustin Pedroia. Then the rumor last week was, would Dusty make a great manager? No. And then Pete, I think it was Pete Abrahams, comes today, breaking news, and that's the most overused 2 words in the English language right now. Breaking news that Dustin Pedroia had a setback. I didn't even know he was back to have a setback. So Dustin Pedroia hurt his knee again. I don't even know what he was doing. So he hurt his knee, and that he's going now consult with his family again about whether he's going to play anymore. Okay, can we just end this, please? Dustin Pedroia is owed $25 million for the Red Sox. They're not getting out of that. Dustin Pedroia is going to get paid his $25 million a year. Make him a freaking first base coach. Get it over with. He'll be the highest paid first base coach in the history of the game, by far. But no more Dustin Pedroia breaking news events. It's not breaking news. We know Dustin Pedroia's career is over. The last many years has kind of been a difficult time for him with injuries. He was a great player many years ago. But yes, the whole Dustin Pedroia thing is over. When he comes to get into the Red Sox Hall of Fame, we'll cheer him like crazy. But that's it for Dusty. Stay in Arizona and enjoy your pile of money with your lovely family. I'm all done with that. Great question, Adrian.
Spring training starts in a month from today. Are you excited?
Yeah, am I excited about spring training in a month from today? No, their first game, I guess when maybe Northeastern, is on February 21st. No, I could be less excited about spring training. Not that I'm a big fan of spring training anyways, but yeah, will you watch any spring training games? I will not watch any spring training games. There's really no reason to watch it. Usually watch spring training games to see like young players, rookies and stuff come up, and you want to see how they play in major league games, those spring training. Maybe I would tune in if I knew Bobby Dahlbeck was coming up, but otherwise, no interest in spring training. I don't know how the Red Sox get the buzz back. I don't know. This is going to be a very difficult season. Adrian!
You can already get grandstand seats on StubHub for $12 for every April game except for opening day. What does that mean?
Oh, I know, right? As a season ticket holder, of course, the show's called The Grandstanders. So I looked on StubHub today, and already, wishful thinking, of course, a lot of people were posting their grandstand seats, good grandstand seats that cost like $60, already for $12, which they're not getting. They'll be lucky they get $6 for all the April games, which means every game in April, if you're a season ticket holder, you're losing $100 a game, which obviously means that your season tickets, whether it's $56, is really already priced at $70, $80 for the seats. Look, getting season tickets is not a good decision right now for the Boston Red Sox. I wonder if they'll even make public how many people, what the mass exodus was. Again, I've mentioned this before. I would be surprised if it wasn't 40 And the people who hold him are already posting their tickets on StubHub, are not happy campers right now. Going to be interesting, the whole secondary market this year. All right, we go to the Patriots. And Adrian, just that Adrian gets to say these words right now makes her night.
Jimmy G is in the Super Bowl and Tom Brady is not.
Yeah, I know, it's happened.
Is this just bizarro world or natural selection?
Yeah, right. It is kind of a natural selection. We kind of knew this was going to happen, didn't we? We were hoping Jimmy G would be in the Super Bowl, and so would Tom Brady. But that's not how it's happening. Look, Jimmy G, he thrown like 6 passes almost the whole game. He's the ultimate ball control quarterback. But Jimmy G is in the Super Bowl. He's deserving of it. He's played very well this season. He's played within the system. Look, that's what we talked about. It was our worst fear as a Patriots fan. And I said, as many others, I said the night that they traded, we were going live, the night they traded Jimmy G, I said that we would regret and talk about this for the next decade, 2020, and we are really starting to talk about it, and it's not going to end anytime soon. Nobody moving forward is going to be compared to Tom Brady as a Patriots quarterback. They're going to be compared to Jimmy G, ironically, because we know you can't compare any player to Tom Brady. That's not fair. But the Stidhams, whoever comes, we're going to be matching box scores with Jimmy G. That's how it is for the next 5 or 6 years, at least, possibly 10 years. Should have considered that, Bob Kraft, when you convinced Bill Belichick to trade Jimmy G, because that's what we're facing. And it's going to be awful painful, but you got to root for Jimmy G in the Super Bowl. You got to. I know lovely and talented Adrian's gonna.
I sure am. Tom Brady says he's going to talk to other teams. Really?
Come on, Tom. See?
Really?
Really? Tom was talking to Mark Davis, the one with the worst supercut haircut of all time, the owner of the Raiders, because his dad passed away, Al Davis, and gave it to his son. And he's been playing with it ever since. They're moving to Vegas. That's where Tommy Boy was. They were talking, and of course the rumor mill started. Tom, you can talk to all the teams you want, but that's going to hurt the name brand, and that's going to piss off lots of fans. But go ahead, talk to teams. If you need to have your picture on the scoreboard when you visit with Tom Brady in a Raiders uniform, if that gets you off that day, Tommy, we love you. Go for it. Just seems kind of bizarre.
Does the TBT brand go away if Tom leaves the Pats?
Okay, talking to Grant, the owner, before he came on the show, and with his buddies there, and they were saying, they were asked the question, they asked me to answer the question, does the TBT brand die? Yes, it does. This is different now, the climate. Tom Brady goes to the Patriots. He's beloved. He's, of course, on Mount Rushmore of Boston athletes. But they're not going to go there and work out at TB12 anymore. They're not going to buy the hats anymore. They're not going to buy the shirts. That's not how it works. Whoever's the quarterback of the New England Patriots, that's the guy they buy the jerseys for. That's the guy they buy the T-shirts for. If he opens up a snack shop at Gillette Stadium, that's where they buy their snacks. We're all about the guys in the laundry right now. Come on. Love Big Papi. Nobody loves Big Papi right now more than I do. But since he's retired, it's been very sad. And there's been times that I've gone on Facebook and Big Papi was pawning T-shirts. Yeah, that's how mighty they fall. Tom Brady, leave the Patriots, and you'll see what happens. There won't be any more TB12. Think about that deeply before you start visiting other teams. Adrian.
So Edelman just had shoulder surgery. Is he really playing next year?
Yeah, come on. This is getting kind of painful to watch. I don't know if Julian was watching the college football championship and they showed the what they considered the 10 greatest college players of all time. One of them was Earl Campbell, and he's in a wheelchair. Earl Campbell took so much punishment in his career, he can no longer walk. Julian, do you really need to go back and play NFL football when you're having multiple surgeries? And shoulder surgery sounds pretty drastic. Sounds like a guy they don't suggest start going and playing NFL football anytime soon at your age. And I would hope you've saved plenty of dough. And with your possible post-career in modeling and design of clothes, Julian, hang it up, for God's sake. Let the Patriots get some new young wide receivers. The last thing we need to do is depend on Julian Edelman. I hurt Julian Edelman. We saw how that worked out this year, and it didn't work out very well. So yes, please, Julian retire. Anybody who sees Julian in the street, thank him for his service. But yeah, we don't need Julian Edelman anymore playing for the New England Patriots. Adrian.
So what player are you now obsessed with the Patriots getting?
Oh yeah, I get obsessed with players on other teams. Hunter Henry from the Chargers, a tight end. He's a free agent this year. Perfect guy. Guy that tall guy that can catch 60, 70 passes. I'm not going to compare him to Gronk because I'm not comparing him to Hall of Famers. That's not fair. But Hunter Henry is the guy that I'm going to be pining for in the offseason, for a guy to fill that tight end position. Because if you draft a tight end, that's tough for a tight end to come in right into the league and be a quality player. And we need a quality tight end moving forward. So there you go. So when you at the cooler tomorrow, mention Hunter Henry, and you sound like you know what you're talking about with the Patriots. Adrian.
AFC Championship TV ratings were down. Are you surprised?
Yeah. Tom Brady factor. Everybody hates Tom Brady, huh? Well, everybody watches Tom Brady. The ratings were down. Obviously, Tom Brady's quite a draw. 8 straight years in the AFC Championship. People want to see stars. People who don't know sports. People like the lovely and talented Adrian's whole family. They want to see Tom Brady. They want to see LeBron James. They want to see Frank Sinatra. That's what people come for. So yes, of course the ratings were down. Ryan Tannehill, who wants to see Ryan Tannehill play football? It's painful to watch. So yes, the networks would like to see Tom Brady continue in the NFL. No better matchup than Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, right? Adrian.
Is the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes the man now?
He is the man. We thought Lamar Jackson was the man, right? And he lost. He spit a bit in the division playoffs. Pat Mahomes is now the man. Pat Mahomes is the face of this league. Pat Mahomes is what we have to compare all other quarterbacks to moving forward. Tom Brady at 43 years old is not Pat Mahomes. This is where all of a sudden I'd like to see the transition from Tom Brady to the next quarterback happen, because the future in the NFL are quarterbacks that of course can make all the throws, but are quarterbacks who are mobile. And Tom Brady, of course, can't be mobile. He's never been mobile, and he's 43 years old. That's not going to happen anytime soon. So that kind of makes you think, if Tom Brady were to go to another team, maybe it's actually a good thing for the Patriots. What does Bill Belichick want? I don't know. I have a funny suspicion that he'd like to see Tom Brady move on. Adrian.
This question comes in from one of our viewers. Would you take Mike Vrabel as head coach over Bill moving forward?
Oh, fire and ice. I love that question. Would I take Mike Vrabel as a coach moving forward over Bill Belichick? Grant May, owner of Sonny McLean's Grant May. Mike Vrabel or Bill Belichick moving forward, Grant? Would you take, as coach of the Patriots, Mike Vrabel or Bill Belichick moving forward? Grant takes Belichick. I don't know. That's all right. Mike Vrabel is the sexy, well, we have to agree with Grant, of course. Bill Belichick is the correct answer, because we got to give Grant love. Yeah, but Mike Vrabel is definitely the sexy thing when it comes to head coaching. Really pushed all the right buttons, and even in the AFC Championship game, to keep them competitive. But yeah, I would go for Bill. Ask me that question 2 more years from now. It feels like this whole Tom Brady, Jimmy G thing going on again. We know who the future is, but we're holding on to the present. Great question. Love it. Go on, Adrian.
Are you excited about the Super Bowl matchup?
Yeah, I am excited about it. It really is. I mean, they arguably they are the 2 best teams in the NFL. And it's going to be great. Always a question. Defense versus offense. Defense of the San Francisco 49ers against a great offense. Usually, statistically, the defense wins. It didn't win in the Super Bowl last year. Rams had a better defense than the Patriots, statistically, by far, and we squeaked out a victory. That's what it just shows you last year. Just so crazy that we won a Super Bowl. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the Super Bowl. Adrian.
Early predictions on the game.
Okay, so you guys got your predictions yet? All right, so I see Pat Mahomes. I see the way he can put up points. I then see that Aaron Rodgers really plays a terrible game, but yet able to move the ball offensively against the 49ers pretty much at times at will. If there weren't like 26 fumbles by Rodgers, they could have almost won that game. Right now, I know the Chiefs are favored by 1 point. I don't know. Chiefs, look, if you can get 1 point, which is pretty much even on the Chiefs, I take the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to win and be the Super Bowl champs. They probably should have been the Super Bowl champs last year, so 1 year too late. But Kansas City Chiefs fans who haven't had a Super Bowl in 50 years, they'll take it anytime. So right now, ask me next week, but right now I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win. But I could change. That's how it works. Adrian.
Inquiring minds want to know, will you watch the Pro Bowl this week?
That seems like a joke, right? You know, I do stand-up comedy. Maybe I just go up and ask that question on stage, and maybe I get left. Who watches the Pro Bowl? I can't even believe that they moved it from, used to be Hawaii, to Orlando. The only thing interesting was just, you know, you're sitting there in New England in February, and you could get to see like 3 hours of Hawaii and just feel the warmth. That was the only thing interesting about the Pro Bowl. Yeah, I'm not going to watch the Pro Bowl. I've never watched the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl, out of all the 4 All-Star games, is by far the worst game, though NBA is trying very hard to jump the shark and become the worst game. But yes, the Pro Bowl is the worst All-Star game, of course, baseball being the best. In the 4 major sports. I don't think anyone in the viewing audience is going to be watching the Pro Bowl. Very funny. All right, Bruins, 68 points. Big victory tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. First in the Atlantic Division. I guess 70 points now. First in the Atlantic Division. 3 points starting the night behind the Caps in the Eastern Conference. I guess that would put them 1 point. All right, Adrian, we got some Bruins questions.
Big win on Thursday against Penguins, and then blow a lead against Penguins over the weekend. What team are we getting?
Yeah, what team are we getting? You know, isn't that sports? You know, you get such a high from such a quality victory against a quality team on last Thursday night, and then you blow a big lead and you lose to that same team. One step forward, one step back. I don't know. Again, it's January. It's the NHL. I never know truly what to think of it. Just that, you know, I like to set the tone with these top teams. I felt the last game we played against the Capitals, we set the tone moving forward. That was a tough game to lose. But yeah, at least they got over it. Nice victory against Vegas today, and we move forward. So yeah, it's a Jekyll and Hyde team right now. Adrian.
Bruins versus Pens Eastern Conference Finals matchup.
Yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it? Right? Look, the Penguins are just a fun team to watch. Such offensive power. And the Bruins and Penguins always seem to play great games. Yeah, the NHL playoffs are fun no matter what. Hype it up even more. That would be much more enjoyable to watch for the average fan than the Bruins Capitals. Of course, I got the Bruins in there. But yeah, I think the Bruins and Penguins would be the best matchup. And we always mention the TV ratings. That would be, NBC would like that a lot if the Bruins and Penguins were in. I think that would be a great viewing audience and must-watch TV for people outside of Boston and Pittsburgh. Adrian.
David Backes was cut. Thoughts?
Yeah, we ended the show with David Backes. You know, obviously it was kind of between Eriksson and Backes on who they signed. They signed Backes, who was an extraordinary player and captain for the Blues for many years. Just didn't work out with injury-wise. The guy gave a great effort when he was out there. He tried to be the role of tough guy, and you got to hand it to him for his advancing age and for the concussions. The guy gave his effort. Bruce Cassidy even said it. You just don't want to see a guy have permanent injuries moving forward. Look, the moment the Bruins signed on the dotted line, they had guaranteed his contract. So you can't worry about that going forward. He was going to get paid no matter what. Good. I hope David Backes settles with the Bruins. Doesn't play any more NHL hockey because he's down in Providence, and it doesn't preclude him from getting hit and getting more concussions. Hopefully he leaves the NHL intact and he has a wonderful life for himself. Some moves don't work out, but this didn't work out because of injury, and that's what you can accept greater than guys just being dogs like the Pablo Sandoval's of the world. Well, that's a great question. So that's our show for tonight. I want to thank, of course, Sonny McLean's in Wilshire Boulevard here in beautiful Santa Monica, California. Come on down. Matt Damon hangs out at this place. So if Matt can come, you can definitely come. If you're heading out from New England, heading here to Southern California, I hope you can come to the bar and, of course, join us on Tuesday nights. Want to thank, of course, Grant, the owner, and Joni, his lovely wife. Want to thank my partner in crime, the lovely and talented Adrian, with her great, wonderful questions, some of which she came up herself. Please tune in again next Tuesday night for another edition of the Grandstanders Live with Scott Kerman. I'm your host. Have a great and happy night.